السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا وسهلا. Welcome guys. Marhaban. Hope you guys can hear sounds working. Right, so another Friday, another Imama day. We're in the Imama today as usual. Oh, I haven't put this side light on. 1 second. Right, so Ahlan wa sahlan, marhaban, welcome. My name's Liaqat Zaman. Hope you guys having a wonderful time. As usual, on Fridays we usually have a little chit chat on Fridays after Jummah, post Jummah chill out. So today, after Jummah, I gave a Jummah talk in my local masjid, and then they were giving out bananas after the salat, and I basically had a banana, and then I went to Maji's house. Maji, if you're watching, Maji made that pink tea for me. Finally, eventually, after so long waiting, in anticipation, Maji's pink tea. Maji's pink tea wasn't up to my expectations, and the next time I'm going to show him how to make it. So Maji, don't worry, bro. These things happen. Right, so let's check out you guys then. Ahla wa sahlan, ahla wa sahlan. Bukhtun Pride, wa alaikum assalam. Do you know authentic Islamic books from well-known Islamic scholars translated in English language? For someone studying on the side, doesn't need to be specific. For the loads of books. It depends. What book do you want? Is there a digital Islamic library in English language? I'm sure there is. I don't know of any specific ones, but if you Google any book that you want, just Google and you'll find. Yeah, that's the fun thing about Google. Yeah, so that's the fun thing about Google. So I don't have any specific repository of books, but if you Google it, just type in any book that you want and see if there's the English translation of it available. Wa Harun alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Qazi Iqbal alaikum assalam. Please introduce yourself in Pashto. Zama Runa Ukhende Zamanum Liaqat Zaman de Da Zama YouTube channel de Dera Mehrabani Bey Chitasu Zama video or Chikam Dars Chikam Major Karide Pudemande Tasurashe or Zama Dars Waure or Noro Khalaktum work inshallah or Da Zama Road de Qazi Iqbal Indiana هغه دا درخواست مال راکړی دی چې مهرباني په پښتو ژبه کې لږه تعارف وکړي. So Qazi, are you happy? Ismail Qasim alaykum assalam, ahla wa sahlan. Saqib Baba alaykum assalam. Is there any difference between thawb and jubba? Are you talking about Islamic or are you talking about... Thawb means cloth. In Arabic, thawb means cloth. Jubba is normally like a long, sort of like a dress. So thawb simply just means any cloth is called a thawb in Arabic. But it's used like people just say, oh, he's got a thawb on. He's got a cloth on. Yeah. The practice while the Prophet ﷺ was alive was to fast on the 10th. There is one hadith about fasting on the 9th if the Prophet ﷺ were alive that year, but he was not. So should we stick to the 10th? So basically, with regards to this masala, the Prophet ﷺ, he fasted for approximately 9 years, the 10th of Muharram only. And then in the last year, he said, if I'm alive next year, I'm going to fast either one day before, one day after with it. Because in Medina, Jews that were around Medina, they used to fast the 10th. So he wanted to distinguish between them. So that's why the scholars say there are 3 types of fasts that you can fast for Muharram. You can either fast just the 10th on its own. That's fine. Especially if you're living in an area where there are no Jews. Or you fast the 10th, 9th, 10th, and the 11th, all 3 days. And the third fast is you fast the 10th with one of the 2 days, either before or after. So 9, 10, or 10, 11. Do you recommend a student of knowledge to take uni student loans? I don't recommend them to take it. If they got some other means, they should take some other means. Wa alaikum assalam, Yasin, mashallah. How's junior Yasin? MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Umran, wa alaikum assalam, ahlan wa sahlan, marhaban, welcome. हैदराबाद साहिब, क्या हाल है? हैदराबाद में क्या आजकल क्या चल रहा है? हालात कैसे हैं? इंडिया में हालात कैसे हैं? हमारे लिए कोई आने का कोई गुंजाइश है हैदराबाद? How to become a quality student? भाई आप तो quality student है, आप तो ही quality student है. So how to become a quality student? Number 1, always attend lessons. Number 2, always try to go over your lessons. Number 3, have the utmost respect for your teacher. Yeah, 3 things I would advise. When watching football on TV, sometimes you see some of the players' thighs. Is this sinful for me when I see it? What I would say is, look, because there's ikhtilaf in this amount, right? Because it's not the full thigh that's been shown, it's just around about the knee. There's ikhtilaf in this. I would say that because it's quite far, most of the match is far, so you don't really see in detail. There'd be scope for that. Yeah. Otherwise, if you want to be really safe, best not to watch it. If you want to be safe and you want to stay away from all the ikhtilafs, then don't watch it. Who are Maturidi and Ash'ari? So Maturidi and Ash'ari basically are 2 schools of thought when it comes to the workings of Aqidah. So Aqidah is the same for everyone, but then the workings, how Aqidah works, the sort of like the engineering, the mechanics of is different. Okay, in the Quran, when the hands of Allah are mentioned, do we interpret literally or give it interpretation? So some of the scholars want the opinion, you don't say hand, you're not supposed to say hand even. You just say Yadullah. Allah has mentioned in the Quran, Yadullah, we don't know what that is. Allah has attributed it for himself. We don't know what it means for Allah to have a yad. So this is the position of the Athari, the Salaf position. So you don't even translate it, don't even say hand. And then the other scholars, the Ash'aris, Maturidi, they say you can interpret it according to a valid interpretation. So hand of Allah in Arabic can also mean the help of Allah. Yeah, when you say, so both positions are valid positions. كل سنة وأنت بخير شيخنا، سنة هجرية سعيدة عليك. شكرا نعم ما شاء الله. دخلنا في السنة الجديدة ما شاء الله، مبارك عليكم جميعا. So New Year, guys, Muharram has started, so this is considered to be like a new year for Muslims, right? Based upon the calendar that was started from the time of Umar radiallahu ta'ala. Yasin, alhamdulillah, junior as well, plenty of laughs and smiles. Mashallah, that's what I like. Arabic ki intensive badi chal rahi hai and COVID case is not too high. I heard, mashallah, your Arabic is quite good, Umran. You're becoming proficient in Arabic sentences. The next Sibawai of India, bhai. Umran Ali Sibawai. What book besides Quran and Hadith have you read that had a profound impact on you? There's loads of books. So I think one of the books that had an impact on me was a book called ماذا خسر العالم بانحطاط المسلمون بانحطاط المسلمين. ماذا خسر العالم بانحطاط المسلمين. Yeah, so this is a book basically, what did the Muslims lose? What did the world lose with the downfall of the Muslims? So this is a book that was written in Arabic by Sheikh Abul Hasan Nadawi, and it's also been translated into English. There's an English translation I have somewhere, if I can find it. But yeah, that's a very good book. It shows you how Muslims reached their peak, and then all of a sudden everything started to go downhill in like the 1600s after the fall of Spain. And then yeah, so that's a good book to actually check out. MashaAllah, salam, Maji. I was just semi-praising your pink tea. Yeah, and I was saying how I would have made it slightly differently. But it was good. Yeah, it was a good experience. Bashir, ahlan wa sahlan. Ismail Qasim, to keep Afghanistan in your du'as. Ameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them unity, and because they're all our brothers and sisters over there. And give peace and unity to the Muslims over there. Dua ki darkhast Muqtisa for being able to become proficient. Allah reward your husnul dhan. Ameen. Kazmataz wa alaikum assalam. May Allah subhanahu mercy on the whole ummah, especially those in war-related places, Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq, Burma, Sudan, Kashmir, and all of the places. Ameen. Excellent. That's put that dua. That's a good dua, that is. Yeah, and it's sad to see wherever our Muslim brothers and sisters are, we don't want to see any fighting. Even if there's a difference in their, way of life or anything like that. We don't want to see our Muslim brothers and sisters, being involved in any sort of fighting. Zaidan, ahlan wa sahlan, wa alaikum assalam, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Yeah, so this is another week. For those of you guys who have joined the Usul Hadith classes, alhamdulillah, you can now see how sort of important it is to study Usul Hadith before going and, trying to understand Hadith. So we've actually reached lesson number 4 in our Usul Hadith series. And our lessons run on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, late at night. And there's also quizzes as well. Yeah, so those of you guys who are watching the videos, make sure you do the quizzes, otherwise you're gonna struggle. SH, is it practical to read a whole tafsir in the penultimate year of Dars Nizami? Is it practical? Of course, I think it's practical. I mean, is it possible? I think, is it possible? Definitely, the whole Quran should be taught in a Dars Nizami. I mean, whether you do it either in 1 year, it might be a bit, unless you have multiple lessons for it. But usually it's spread over 3 or 4 years. Yeah. My opinion. Apart from Jalalain, as Sheikh Hamza used to say, we are in the end game, people. I visited Nizamiya, the madrasa whose syllabus I sent you a month ago, and found out that they train in Arabic for 2 years before the... Oh, no wonder. Yeah, now it makes sense, because otherwise I was thinking, how is it possible for that kind of a syllabus to be taught to the average person? Yeah, that's something which doesn't seem to be the norm. I just want to learn Arabic to read Quran and some basic books. What timeline should I set myself? A year or 2? I want to set a deadline so I won't become complacent. I would say, I mean, it all depends on the syllabus that you choose. If you do the one that I have, which is Quranic Arabic 17 lessons, if you can do a lesson or 2 per week, 17 lessons, so that 2 per week is going to make it, let's say, about 9 weeks. Yeah, so literally in 9 weeks, right, which is just over 2 months, you'll finish that. Then after that, if you do like follow on from that, which might take you about 3 or 4 months. So I'm thinking if you study regularly, consistently, doing all the kind of work set, you could probably, a year would be good to get a good grasp of being able to do like basic translation of the Quran. I would say if you could do that, year and a half, yeah, maybe a year and a half window, I would say. If you set yourself 2 years, the only thing I'm thinking is 2 years. You don't want to make yourself too complacent in 2 years. You want to kind of push yourself so that you can do more. Shaykh, can you make a course on Maturidi Aqidah 0 to Hero? Inshallah, why not? Inshallah, one day, inshallah, I will do that. Love the idea of BA with Alimia Asifa. Allah bless, brilliant idea, mashallah. Wish it gets replicated everywhere. Inshallah, that's the idea. Hopefully, inshallah, when it gets going, we can have students that are graduating with the degree as well and the Alimia certificate. Because you see, what happens is when you have an Islamic course at university, you don't study the books thoroughly. You just study certain sections or certain parts, which isn't really kind of very thorough in understanding the subject. But with the Alimiyah, you do that. But the problem with the Alimiyah is you don't get training in writing skills, writing, research, modern sort of like issues. That's what you don't get in there. And then recognition, obviously. If you got a degree, you got yourself a recognition, right? You're sorted with a recognition. That's what you want. So yeah, let me just do my tea in. Mufti, is taking the COVID vaccine permissible? Yes, I have taken both of them. Permissible. Saqiba, views on Shaykh bin Uthaymeen? I have no views on him. I don't even know him that well. Inshallah, when I get to know him very well, then I'll give you my views. I'm going to write my PhD on him. Assalamu alaikum, Ustad. कभी दारुल उलूम देवबंद आए इंशाअल्लाह, क्यों नहीं भाई, मैं दारुल उलूम देवबंद भी आऊँगा, चक्कर लगाऊंगा, सारे मदारिस का चक्कर लगाऊंगा, देवबंदी मदारिस के चक्कर भी लगाऊंगा, बरेलवी मदारिस के चक्कर भी लगाऊंगा, अहले हदीस की मदारिस भी चक्कर लगाऊंगा इंशाल्लाह. A good tour. Imagine that. You go to India, you visit all the different madaris, main madaris, Deobandi ones, the Brailwi ones, Al Hadith ones. You can have a good idea of what's happening over there, what the study's like. I think that would be good. If someone could do that. Fantastic. This is part-time, so 1 year is a good timeline. I want to be focused. I think 1 year you can do it, but you have to obviously set yourself real kind of goals, inshallah. May or Mufti Saab will be roaming, inshallah, with my GoPro, yeah, going around street food and checking out the madaris, checking out the good sites. How many students have joined Alimiya courses so far from India Line? I have no idea. Yeah, I'm not involved in that, so I don't know the admin. All I do is I just teach. India में आए इंशाल्लाह, क्यों नहीं, इंशाल्लाह आऊंगा, इंशाल्लाह ज़रूर आऊंगा, इंशाल्लाह. Yeah, so I want to go to India for several reasons. Number one is food. I think the main thing I want to go to India is for food, tasting different types of food, especially South Indian food. I've heard a lot of good things about South Indian food, so I want to taste that. And I want to visit the madaris over there, and also obviously you guys over there from India. Why not? Salam Sheikh Hussain. I have an account in Habib Bank, Pakistan that gives 3% fixed profit on my account. Is this riba? Is this account halal? So yes, this would be riba. So if the profit is based, so it depends what the profit is. The profit is based upon you leaving wealth there, then it's riba. But if the profit is based that when you leave your wealth there, they invest your money in a business, and then you get profit from that, then that might be allowed. But this seems as though because it's fixed income would be considered to be riba. Yeah. We're going to be trained in Arabic speech in this intensive alongside translation and everything else. MashaAllah. Well done. Are Muslims allowed to visit places where Allah's punishment has occurred? If you 100% know that Allah's adhab has occurred, if you're guessing, if you think it occurred, right, then it's fine. But if you 100% know azab has occurred over here, then and it's only an azab place, nothing else, then you should avoid it. It's not sinful. But Makkah, azab has come in Makkah, yeah, like on the people of Makkah for several years, famine, drought. So you're allowed to visit Makkah. Yeah. So in other words, azabs have come in places, but we don't know exactly where those azabs. Most of the places we don't know where the azabs are. Please, sir, make dua for me. I am from India, occupied Kashmir. Inshallah, may Allah make things easier for you, my brother. Zaidan, नेक काम में जल्दी करनी चाहिए. बिल्कुल क्यों नहीं भाई. कोविड के बाद इंशाल्लाह, कोविड खत्म होने के बाद कुछ प्रोग्राम बनाएंगे इंशाल्लाह. I hope you don't get refuted for visiting Brailwi Darulum. Why not, bhai? Look, at the end of the day, Brailwi, Deobandi, Ahlul Sunnah, we all believe they are considered to be Muslim. Yeah, if someone has very extreme views on something, that's something separate. But generally, it's fine. So if people want to refute, why they can refute. People are going to find a reason to refute you for all sorts of reasons. Hyderabad has the best food. Mufti Saab will agree once he tries. Acha, देखेंगे भाई. Yeah, फैसला मैं करूंगा इंशाल्लाह. I'll be there for whenever you look, inshallah. Asif. Abu Khalil, who is the author of Usul al-Shashi and why do scholars differ who wrote the book? Yeah, so the author seems to be, so the author is someone who we know as being Imam Shashi, Yaqub Shashi. However, there is ikhtilaf exactly which year this book was written in. So it's the problem with some authorships is we know who wrote them, but we don't know much about the time that they were in. So it seems as though the genre, the nature of the book, it seems as though it was written before 500. That's what it seems. So when we in the West sort of like look at books, we think that books are all the same. In the past, books were not published. Books were written from a teacher. So sometimes you have lots of books in libraries around the world, manuscripts, but we don't know much about the authors. Yeah, so that's why. And the same goes with, there's several other books like Ajur Rumiya as well. The author, it's a bit, Bayquniya and others. We're not really 200% sure of. Any corner of India. I am from Indore. Love you so much. Ameen. Ahlan wa sahlan. Jazakallah khair, my brother. Salam Sheikh, do you have any advice for structured studies, a curriculum for those who work full time? Yes. What I would suggest is you got options. Number one is try to find if there's a part-time course that suits your timings. Right. Sometimes there's some part-time courses that work on weekday evenings, some work on weekends, some work at your own pace. If you can find that, ideal. Option number two is try to get yourself a private teacher, and then whenever you get time, you sort it out with the teacher, and then you can study with them. That's option number two. Option number three is you try to do pre-recorded lessons. So you join a course where there's on-demand lessons, and then you do those. But this third option I wouldn't advise, because number one, you get demotivated very quickly because you lose that motivation. And number two is you don't really have contact with the teacher. You need to have contact with the teacher. Teacher knows you. You know the teacher. That's what I would say. Do you know any good book about the manners of the Prophet ﷺ, and also for like daily sunnahs to follow, such as putting your right shoe in first? I would say possibly in English you're talking about, yeah? English, maybe something like the Shama'il series. Yeah, Shama'il. So try to find the Shama'il that has been translated into English. Yeah, there's many people who have done it today. Please tell me something about Omar Ali. Omar Ali? You mean Omran Ali? Bhai, you ask Omran Ali yourself, he's here. Omran Ali, bhai, ye Qazi Sahab aapke bare mein sawal kar rahe. What is istihsan and how is it used? Can you give an example? So according to Hanafis, istihsan. Abu Khalil, you are asking loads of questions, bro. Okay, I think Abu Khalil, I'm going to have to leave your questions because you've got loads of questions that are very long questions. Yeah, so, okay, brother Anon, people are told to roam the earth and see what has happened to those people who were punished. What are the Hanafis and Khabar Ahad? Do they give preference? Yeah, brother, you're asking too many long questions. So come tomorrow, inshallah, Abu Khalil. Tomorrow is dedicated to question and answers in the evening. Faisla kun maktab. What is the difference between nikah misyar and nikah mut'ah? I don't know. Wallahu alam. Zaidan, Delhi has the best food, the street food of Delhi. Chandni Chowk. Chandni Chowk. Oh, wow. That sounds like something you want to go there. Near Jama Masjid. That's it, bro. Zaidan, get ready, bro. Imran, we're going to have to do chakkar too in Delhi, okay? Okay, I'm suffering from urine incontinence, leakage urine. Can I recite namaz in that state? Yes. What you have to do is just repeat your wudu for every salat, and then every time the next salat comes, do your wudu again. Right. So even with this problem that you have, the Sharia will ignore it. So you have this issue, you do wudu, even if it's coming out, it doesn't matter. Pray your salat. Is it true in the Hanafi madhab allows one to marry without a wali? According to Imam Hanifa, yes, but not necessarily the Hanafi madhab. Hanafi madhab scholars, later scholars have differed on this issue. Sheikh, why Ibn al-Arabi is considered so controversial? Allah knows best. Wallahu a'lam. I think it's because of some statements that he's made. Yeah, so he's made some statements which sound very controversial, and some people have taken them literally, and some people have not. Saki, wa alaikum assalam, ahla wa sahlan, my brother Saki from Kashmir. Crazy on my heart. There are different ways of namaz. Each are doing their own prayers in different ways. With our heart pure, we can do namaz in any ways. Is this right? As long as it's a method that has some proof from the days of Sahaba. Yeah. So as long as there's some proof that this method of praying is from the days of the Sahaba, that's fine. How long do you think a part-time, full-time course should be? I think a full-time must be at least 5 years, at least minimum 5 years, no less than that. Yeah, unless you do it privately. If you do it privately, depending on how good of a student you are, how much reading you do, you can do it, I think, in 4 years. But if you're a really good student and you dedicate all time to it. Part-time, I think it should be at least 7-8 years. Yeah, 7-8 years at least. Do you know the name of engineer Muhammad Ali Mirza Sahib from JLM, Pakistan? He is one of the most popular scholars among YouTubers. No, I don't. I've heard of him, yeah. I've heard of him. Why Arabs do not jalsa istirahat? Why do not do jalsa istirahat in namaz? There is Sahih Hadith available in Sahih Bukhari. Yeah, so there is Sahih Hadith available, but at the same time, there are practice of the Sahaba that they never used to do it. So in other words, this could possibly be the Prophet ﷺ did Jalsa Istirahat because of the end of his life. He became very weak. He found it difficult to get up from Salat, so he would sit down for a little while. Mullah alaykum assalam, ahlan wa sahlan, mashallah, mashallah. Yes, my man. Yeah, are you at work in the office chilling out? Friday, chill. Thank you, sir. May Allah bless. Ameen, ameen. Oh, Saki is a sister. Okay, I thought Saki was. Ahlan wa sahlan, ahlan wa sahlan. Whether you're a brother, whether you're a sister, ahlan wa sahlan. Marhaban, welcome. So yeah, so Fridays, basically, I just do a little chat for you guys, and I normally try to answer questions on Saturdays. And I've actually started Usul Hadith classes that run on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and we do Hidayah in the morning as well for advanced. Usul Hadith is for beginners, Hidayah is for advanced students. And yeah, so this week it's been a very nice week, pleasant. The weather today has been very pleasant, just been chilling outside. I don't know if you guys have seen the video of the gifts that the students sent me. Yeah, so there's like all these nice, lovely gifts of what they've sent me. Actually, shall I show you them? You guys want to see them? Yeah, these are nice little cups they sent me. These seeds, and they're actually a whole set for growing your own tea. Imagine that. So imagine I drink all these different types of teas. Imagine I grew my own tea. How organic can you become? Yeah, you have reached the peak. You have reached the peak of tea mastery. That you're growing your own tea now. There's nothing beyond that after that. You have reached the limits. So they brought me all this tea set of how to make your own tea, a book of recipes of how to grow your tea in the garden and make it. So inshallah, Maji, yeah, that's the way. Alhamdulillah, work overtime this week for a day. Oh, yeah, I saw on your social media you're saying like something like 11 hours or 10 hours. How much is that? Yeah, Isha time in India. Allah Hafiz. Take care, inshallah. Sif. Mufti. Yeah, that's a good one there. Yeah, that's a good one. Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd. Yeah, so this week's been quite good. Oh yeah, I actually got these chocolates here. So these are deciding to become my Friday chocolates. Yeah, so I will taste some of these chocolates for you guys. Again, Maji, you didn't come down, so unfortunately I couldn't offer you any of these chocolates. So these weeks, the normal videos I make on day to day have been a bit slow, but I have been making the 1 minute videos. Have you seen those 1 minute ones? It seems 1 minute, but it actually takes me, I would probably say maybe between half an hour to 45 minutes to make one. Because there's a lot of editing that I have to do afterwards. So, I'm starting to get used to this dark chocolate now. Although it's still got a bit of taste in the back of your tongue. Takhasus fi shay. Yeah, takhasus fi shay. That was a good one. Shaykh, assalamu alaikum. The hadith of 1 unit before the end of Fajr, I said, also hold the same ruling with Dhuhr, Maghrib, Isha? No. Also heard the Fajr prayers isn't counted in the hadith. So this hadith, there's a hadith. I mean, this is a long question. I don't want to spend too long on trying to explain this question, but I'll just give you the gist. There's a hadith that said, Prophet ﷺ said, whoever gets 1 rakat of Asr before the sun sets has got his Asr. And whoever gets 1 rakat of Fajr before the sun rises has got his Fajr. What does this mean? There are multiple opinions about what this hadith means. One of the opinions is what Shaykh has mentioned. That if you pray 1 rakat before Asr, before Maghrib, and then the sun sets, and you pray 3 rakats after sunset, your Asr is done. And the same for Fajr. If you pray 1 rakat before sunrise, and then 1 rakat when sun rises, this is one interpretation. Other interpretation is that this does not mean 1 rakat before Asr does not mean that 1 rakat before the sun sets. This 1 rakat before means if you have time and you join the Imam and you get 1 rakat with him, they say this is referring to Jama'ah prayer. You get 1 rakat with the Imam, then you've got the Jama'ah basically. And then there's other opinions that this is talking about, like Imam Tahawi says, this is talking about someone who accepts Islam just before Maghrib starts and they've got enough time for 1 rakat. That person has to do qadha of that one rakat. Yeah, so this is why what you mentioned here, this is one interpretation of it. But Hanafis don't interpret it like this. You only posted pictures, not the video. In the picture that I saw in book, perhaps. Yes, there was a video actually as well. So if you're checking my videos, I've actually got a video that I made to show you this as well. Actually, let me try to find this video. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, so here is the video. The minute one are really good for answering common questions people have. Oh yeah, that's a good one. But how can you answer haram haircut in 1 minute, bro? Come on, Mullah. You should know that as well. That's what everyone's gonna want to ask. Ghazi, Assalamu alaikum says, write a brief paragraph of the factors that influence the different approaches taken by scholars to accept and reject hadith. This question is from Usul Hadith. Can you tell me that? No, I can't hear the answer. This answer is for you to tell me. I want to see how you've understood the lesson. So you see, a lot of the questions, they're not just have a fixed answer. They are something that you have to show me. Have you understood the whole lesson? Yeah. So when you say this question, there's no answer for me to give you. This is an open-ended question. This is. Yeah. So you have to, by watching the videos, understand the lessons. You have to be able to try and answer that in your own way. Wa alaikum assalam, Masir Ali, ahla wa sahlan. Mullah, next minute video has to be our prawns halal. I'm just going to say, our prawns halal, and take out a prawn, chew it, take about just about 1 minute to chew it, and yeah, okay. That'd be a good one. That'd be proper controversial. And yeah, loads of people kind of criticizing it. We've done an entire episode on our podcast on haram haircuts. Okay. That's the way, bro. Sheikh, what work you do for a living? I teach. I'm a teacher in an Islamic institute. How do you balance between adab and criticism? So very easy. So they're both required. Adab is required, and at the same time criticism is required as well. So if criticism is done for the sake of criticism, if criticism is done without any reason, that's wrong. If criticism is done with in a structured way, so for example, you criticize something because maybe a lesson, but you do it with respect, that's fine. This is what our scholars do. So if I say something and someone says, look, I disagree with you on this because of such and such, that's fine. That's a good criticism that is of this. So critiquing, rather, we call it critiquing. That would be good. But if a person does it without respect and says you're a deviant and you're like this and then obviously then that is something which has crossed the limits. So I would say any sort of correcting someone in a good way is something good. Going to use Mufti Saab's classes to gain an edge over everyone, inshallah. That's it, bro. And quickly just finish the 5-year part-time Alimiyah course. You can finish in 3 years. Chalo. Assalamu alaikum. Ahla wa sahlan arsalan. Ahla wa sahlan. Welcome. MashaAllah. Ya Allah. MashaAllah. The what's it? The holidays are going quite well. Yeah. Very nice. Enjoying the relaxation, gardening as well, and cycling. I've been doing quite a lot of cycling this week. So because in the daytime I'm quite free. So I teach in the morning, Hidayah, and then after that I'll be at breakfast, go for a bit of cycling, maybe 10 miles, 15 miles, go around, come back, have a nice shower, and then maybe get some more work done. Yeah, so it's very therapeutic. I don't know if any of you guys do any sort of cycling like that as well, but it's therapeutic. Yeah, hiking is also very therapeutic as well. So if any of you guys are not doing hiking, try hiking, walking, exercise. All of these kind of things are very good for your health. I have started to get a bit of a 1-pack. Yeah, I have to try to get my 6-pack back if I ever had one. So I've got to start doing some more exercise, controlling my diet, eating. I like eating cream. That's the thing. Double cream. I like double cream. Double cream. I like that. Paratha. I like parathas as well. Yeah, double cream parathas with maple syrup and berries. That's so lovely. Masira, I recently started trying to bike again. That was pretty difficult. Yeah, record it, bro. I want to see. Inshallah, it'll be good. If you get a group of friends and you go regularly, that's the best thing. That kind of motivates as well. Sheikh, also please quickly go through the ruling of faded haircuts. Many opinions. Permissible. All faded haircuts are permissible, so long as it does not resemble another religious haircut. End of story. That's the answer. Hamza Bhatti, what should a person do if he finds out that his father is watching pornography? Should the child stay quiet or act? If the father is doing it privately, secretly, he obviously doesn't want other people to find out about this. Yeah. First of all, I think you should make dua for him. So a person should make dua for them, and say, ask Allah to give them like tranquility, peace, and then maybe you might want to sort of like indicate towards them. Yeah, drop in hints about the importance of God in the gaze and staying away from these kind of things. Sometimes some people are involved in sins which they're addicted to, they can't get out of it, and they want to get out of it. So those should be taken into consideration. And the last thing you should ever do is try to expose someone in these kind of situations. And there are also good organizations like Tazkiyah and Purifying the Gaze. These are organizations that are there to help people get out of the addiction of watching pornography. So Mufti said it. That's so amazing. Subhan, I'm gonna put that up. Allahu Akbar. This is Malfuzat, bhai. This is the Friday Malfuzat. Assalamu alaikum Jundullah. I like going for long walks to collect my thoughts. Very good. Yeah, exactly. That's it. You just taken the words out of my mouth. I would definitely say that one thing that you should use your, like, I basically I have some I've got to get some more earphones now, because my earphones, these earphones are actually here's my mask just in case I need to use it. But these earphones are starting to go old on me now, right? So the right one, the sound isn't as good, and I use this a lot to listen to like audiobooks, Quran, stuff like that, and it helps me really think about what's being said. So I've actually been sort of like listening to a lot of a book called Malfluti. It's an Arabic book. It's really good, cover to cover. I've been listening to it, and it really helps me being able to kind of like, okay, now I'm improving my Arabic listening, Arabic writing as well, because then I can come out with sentences. But yeah, collecting thoughts I think is very good. Definitely, it kind of walking helps a person to be able to disconnect from everything. Right? There's no distractions, the mountain or the sky or trees. These are things that don't really distract people. Ruqayya al-Rubai, ahlan wa sahlan, ahlan wa sahlan. Does making dua and dhikr require the lips to move, or can they be done silent? So you can have mental dhikr, which is contemplation, but there should also be a balance. So you should have mental dhikr, you should also do verbal dhikr as well, and physical dhikr, which is the actions of the limbs. So you should have a mixture of all these, because the Quran mentions about all of these. Tafakkur, and then dhikr of the lisan, and then dhikr of the limbs, which is acting. Running in parks is honestly very nice and therapeutic. Plus, it's extremely effective yeah, definitely. I'm going to actually start running in my area. Yeah, so if any of you guys see me running around, yeah, I'm going to be not crazy running. I'm going to be doing like maybe a few miles a day. I need to start working on my cardiovascular, inshallah. So I think becoming more of an exercise Molvi. So outside of an Arabic speaking class, what should a student do to practice and also to progress really well? Writing definitely. Yeah, writing, it brings your thoughts together. Yeah, it allows you to be able to focus your Arabic, and you kind of mentally, you're kind of practicing your Arabic a lot. That's what I would say, definitely, 100%. What was for Jummah lunch today? I didn't have lunch today, so I don't always have lunch. I try to just eat morning and evening. Sometimes in the middle of the day, if I do get a bit hungry, maybe just have something small, but nothing fixed. When you make niyyah for Farz Salat, is it necessary to say out loud? In your head is fine. Yeah, niyyah actually is a thought. So like in your mind, what are you going to do? So niyyah, the opposite of niyyah is just random acts without any thought. Going for a ride. Salam. What time are you going to go, bro? What time are you going? Tell me. Because father is practicing Muslim and always says good teaching Islam is dua and the best thing to do, because unfortunately it causes a lot of mental discomfort to the children and worrying. Yeah, and unfortunately that's something that does happen in families where one of the individuals might be addicted to pornography or things like that, then make dua for them. And also, like I said, there are like organizations that can help people overcome. I wish I could run with you. That's it, man. Imagine that, running together down the street. People will get scared. Bearded guys running down the road. Ahmadu alaikum salam. Can you explain what happens in Dawra Hadith class in a traditional madrasa? In a Dawra Hadith class in a traditional madrasa, you basically study the main books of Hadith, the 6 books of Hadith. Bukhari, all of it. Muslim, usually all of it. I mean, I've studied all Bukhari, all Muslim, all Tirmidhi, all of Abu Dawood, a lot of Ibn Majah, and a lot of Nasai, yeah, and all of Muwatta. So, in other words, these are the main books. So, in other words, a person covers these books. So the teacher goes through these books, explains what the Hadith says, maybe explains a bit about why the author has brought this particular Hadith here, and that's it. Basically, that's what you study in Dawra Hadith. Masir Ali. So in a Sufa, yeah. So in a Sufa, same thing happens in a Sufa. Yeah. So you have Bukhari, Muslim, Tirmidhi, Abu Dawood, and then you have a bit of Ibn Majah, a bit of Nasai. Getting pulled over would be. Can dua change qadr? Heard narration about this. There are some narrations, yeah. So it depends what kind of qadr it is. So the different types of qadr. Certain types of qadr can be changed, yeah. Yeah, it's called a taqdeer al-mu'allaq, can be changed. Right, guys. So, yeah, so that's been my week, guys. That's been my week. Just been a bit busy trying to, sort things out. Been invited to some dinners and parties, and I had some prawns the other day, yeah. So I went to Leicester with our teachers. So teachers had a get together. We went to Leicester. We had this place called Jimmy. It's called Jimmy Seafood, Jimmy Prawns, yeah, something like that name, and very nice prawns, I must say, yeah, very nice prawns, different types of prawns. They had that Kashmiri prawns, the weird one, Kashmiri prawns, and they had what else did they have? Yeah, they had some other ones as well. Yeah, Moroccan prawns, I think it was. Yeah, and they were very nice, very delicious, succulent. I don't know if you guys eat prawns or not, but I love them. And upon graduating from Dawra, does the student get ijazah to teach those books to students via the chain of his sheikh? Yes, if they qualify, yeah. They have to qualify, that's the thing. If they don't qualify, like sometimes someone might do Dawra, but the teacher say you don't qualify, you just attended the lesson. That's the thing. I mean, it all depends on trying to get into so a Sufa's Dawra is a bit difficult to get into if you haven't studied at Sufa, because you have to be of a certain level. So it's not just because that you studied somewhere else that they'll put you in. You actually have to take some tests to see if you qualify. Because we've had people in the past that have come for Dawra, we've tested them, we found that they are probably not even good for our 5th year, 4th year maybe. So that's the issue. We have Jimmy Killer Prawns in Blackburn too. Which did you have? I really want to try. Yeah, I had I can't remember what they were called. There was Kashmiri prawns we had. There's Moroccan prawns, and there was something else, something killer prawns or something. Yeah, they were like really nice, very, very succulent and juicy, and yeah. But the only problem was that you have to kind of take them out the shell, but it was worth it. King prawns, it's worth it. And I'll come down to Blackburn. Yeah, we'll have a session, a special Hanafi session. At what level should someone know their fiqh before going for iftar? Before going for iftar, basically you should be able to read any fiqh book on your own and understand it. And you should be able to, if the teacher asks you any chapter in fiqh, I would say you should be able to explain from the top of your head 70%. Yeah, you shouldn't have a problem with that. So if someone asks you, for example, like with regards to sajda tilawa, you should know it. You should know how sajda tilawa works in the Hanafi madhab. You might not know exactly what particular book says, so you might not be able to answer if someone says, what does it say in Hidayah? What is it saying? You might not know that, but you should know the fiqh inside out for every chapter. And so if you want to have a good start in your iftar. How can we start reading Quran and get peace from it? Just stop. Just do wudu, sit down, open the Quran, start reading it. That's how it works. Inshallah, Ahmad, Jazakallah khair. How can we reconcile the verse, good men are for good women, with the reality of good men, women marrying bad men? So this verse does not mean that good men will always get good women. Doesn't mean, no, this is a misconception, right? الطيبات للطيبين للطيبون للطيبات. Right? This verse generally is referring to like a general concept. Good people are normally inclined towards good people. Like a good man, he would generally want a good woman, like a clean woman. And a good clean woman would generally want a good clean man who hasn't kind of messed around with anyone else and stuff like that. But someone who's bad, someone who's like likes to fornicate and likes to, they don't like nice, clean women. They like a woman who is kind of like, same mind as mentality as them, and the same with the women as well. Yeah. So in other words, the women who are like that, who are involved in flirting around and these, they like men who are like that as well. Yeah. There's like this natural attraction between these kind of groups. So it doesn't mean that a man gets married to a woman and she will definitely be clean, or a woman marries a man, he definitely clean. He might be on the side fornicating, she might be on the side fornicating. Unfortunately, that might happen. So people misconstrue what the verse means. Ustad, how to be humble? Just all depends actually. I would say if you want to become humble, start doing things that make you feel low, inferior to the other person. Like for example, picking up their shoes, maybe. Yeah, making dua for them, giving the salam first. Yeah, letting them go through the door first. These kind of things that honor the other person. Is there any trick to learn Arabic fast? Do my Quranic Arabic 17 lessons. If anyone wants to do my Quranic Arabic 17 lessons, send the email over here. It's £50 course, 17 lessons. It's a very, very straightforward course. Basically what it says on the tin. 17 lessons, you do it. In 17 lessons, you will start to learn how to translate Arabic. Is Khulasat ad-Dalail the best book for proofs and dalil for Quduri? And if so, where can we buy a copy? Khulasat ad-Dalail. I don't know. I've heard of the book, but I don't think I've seen that book. Yeah. So the best book for the Dalail of Quduri would be something like Nasb al-Raya. That's more of Hidayah. So Hidayah is a commentary of Quduri and Jami al-Saghir, and then Nasb al-Raya would be the best place for that. All right, guys, I'm going to finish it there. So, Jazakumullah khair. It was nice chatting with you guys. Really enjoyed it. And as usual, you guys are good company. And inshallah, if anyone still does want to join the Usul Hadith classes, you can email as well. They run on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And, it's something which I've always been telling you guys. When a lot of you guys try to understand Hadith, you guys haven't studied Usul Hadith, so you make big mistakes in trying to understand how Hadith are graded. Yeah, so this is why Usul Hadith is very important, to give yourself a good understanding of how this whole grading system works. Okay, guys, so take care, inshallah. I will see you guys next time, inshallah ta'ala. And I will this week, inshallah, I will start planting those tea seeds in the small pots, and I'll make a video and I'll show you guys as well. And make sure you watch the Arabic, the 1 minute Arabic videos. So Mr. YouTuber, if you're saying that you can't afford it, then you can watch the 1 minute Arabic videos. So on my channel, 1 minute Arabic videos, you can watch those. Those are something which I'm sure you'll be able to follow that. So inshallah, check that out. I'll post it here so you guys can benefit. Share it with others, anyone who wants to learn Arabic. So here goes. Playlist. And this is 1 minute. You will learn Arabic, inshallah. See how many minutes the whole thing will eventually become. All right, guys, take care, inshallah, and I will see you guys tonight as well. Don't forget, there's going to be Arabic podcast tonight, so make sure you tune in for that. Take care, guys. Remember your du'as. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And hit the like button as well. Don't forget to hit the like.